Welcome everyone to the ninth week, or week one of the playoffs of the Lee Blankenship Coaches Show. I'm your host, Brody Feldman. Alongside me, head coach, Lee Blankenship. Coach, how you doing?
Brody, I'm great, man. It's great to be back on with you again this week and get a chance to talk a little Bronco football and highlight some of our kids. So I'm fired up to be here, man.
And it's a great time of the year. Fall weather finally,
Yeah.
Cold outside, and it's playoff time in Oklahoma.
Indeed, and man, it's something about running out on that football field, and we've had to turn the lights on in practice. You know, the time has changed, and it gets darker a little bit earlier. So it's great football weather. Being able to practice under those lights is something that's really fun and special for our kids, and having an opportunity to go into the playoffs here this week and still playing football. We're fired up about that, and it's been a lot of fun this year.
Well, we're going to look back at last Friday's game first before we preview this upcoming week. For the second week in a row, your defense has some challenges of getting off the field, getting some stops. What is it that's kind of leading to those challenges?
You know, that's a good question, and I appreciate the question, Brody. Our kids, I want to talk about our kids' effort just for a second, man. Our effort in practice has been outstanding. Our kids work. Our kids study their scouting report. We had our entire defense is there at 6:30 a.m. on Monday morning. And that just says a lot about their buy-in in our program and their desire to get better every week. Our kids have been in the right place, and we did some good things on Friday night, but we're in the right place the majority of the time and just not making the play all the time. And that's something that we're continuously working and striving to get better. This is we went into this game this week, and it was our 8th different starting lineup. The kids that started, and it was our 10th game of the season. So a little bit of that is just consistency and our lineup and just the guys that are on the field at the same time meshing, and there are multiple factors for that, and there's no need to get into those. Everybody knows we're in 2020 and it's been a challenging year, but there are a lot of factors, but at the end of the day, our kids have played hard. We've continued to just fight in every single game we've been in, and I'm really proud of them for that. Sometimes failure, sometimes disappointment can prepare you for the rest of your life, even more than a win does. And we use every opportunity as a coaching staff to try to teach and encourage and be examples of how to handle that type of adversity. And I'm really proud of our kids. Our kids, we have continued to show up, work hard, have great practices throughout the course of this year, even in the face and in the midst of some trying times and some disappointment. I know that we've got a senior class that when they leave our program, they're going to go out and they're going to be ready to be great husbands, great daddies, great leaders, great men in our community. And I'm fired up about that. And that's something that I can guarantee you success in.
So Friday night, go 3 and out on the first drive. First drive, more just about blocks the punt.
Yeah.
Gets a little scary there for a second. I even talked to the punter. I just went blank on his name, of course. I'm trying to give him a shout out.
Chance Johnson.
Yeah. There we go. I talked to him after the game, and he said, that even scared me. So, but then in the second punt, they do get it.
Yeah.
Was there anything that you can say about what happened on those 2 punts?
I'll just go back to the same exact thing with our defense. It's just the consistency on our special teams units. Those units change and have changed due to factors that are beyond our kids' control at times. Injury, quarantine. Chance got back to practice on Wednesday. He had been gone for 2 weeks in the football game. So youth, and all of those factors combined, they got one, and they got one on us. And to Coach Harper's credit, we got that fixed and corrected there on the sideline. It was and didn't happen to us again. So our kids are learning. Every mistake we get a little bit better, and we just continue to learn. And I've just got so much confidence in and faith, and I just look so forward to the future of our football program. So many young kids on the field. Right now there were a couple of sophomores. We in that shield punt right there in that situation, and we're learning football. We're getting better every week. We're learning the game. We're learning how to respond in situations that are disappointing and are tough. And in football, our seasons, I believe, has kind of reflected the nature of the situation that our community and our country is in right now. In this time with a lot of hardships, a lot of trials, but we're going to persevere, and we're going to keep moving forward, and we're going to have character in the process, and we're going to be great leaders in the process, and I know that this is going to impact our kids long term. Even when we lose, there are still lessons to be learned. So I'm proud of our guys, and there's no doubt in my mind that our kids are learning, our coaches are doing things the right way.
At halftime, Broncos trailed 18-13, but then Moore outscores us 33-8 in the second half. Was there a turning point that occurred that you can pinpoint there in the second half?
To be honest, not really. It was just not making plays when we needed to make plays for whatever reason. And the game of football is such a team sport, and we talk about this with our kids all the time. There's a reason that inside of a football team, we reference each other as a family, so often, and which is again another great lesson for our kids to learn. But we on the field, 10 guys can be doing the right thing. 10 guys can be winning their individual battles, and we have one guy that does not, or one guy that goes the wrong way, and that can impact the entire group. And I mean, a lot of what we're seeing on film and in those situations is a lot of that. It's the majority winning their individual battles, the majority doing the right thing, and one not. And those little things. One of the core values in our program is discipline in the details, and we're still coaching and teaching and working on that each day, daily. That our kids hear that we have to be disciplined in the details. If you're faithful with the little things, if you're faithful with the little, then you'll be trusted with more. You'll be ready for more. And we just have to continue to stress that, and that being faithful in the little things. When you're talking about a football game, sometimes we're not successful in the little thing, and it's not because of lack of effort. It's not because of lack of a great attitude. It's just simply we miss the play, or we miss the block, or we miss the tackle, and that's what we're seeing this year. And that's what we saw on film on Friday night. It's not a turning point. To me, it's just a combination of a lot of little things that add up to a big thing in the end.
You always point back to doing your 1/11th.
Yep, that is goes right back to that lesson that we try to teach. There's 11 guys on the field. You can't do somebody else's job. You've got to do your part, do your 1/11th, and when all 11 of us on that field are doing our job to the best of our ability, that's when good things happen.
Well, we're going to take a commercial break here, and we will be right back after these messages.
Hey, 6th to 12th graders. It doesn't matter who you are or what you're into. If you're looking for a place to connect, if you're looking for answers, if you're in need of some encouragement or just looking for a friend, come on over and join us at First Baptist Mustang on Wednesdays at 6:30. We're a place for you.
Welcome back to the second half of the Lee Blankenship Coaches Show. Coach, we mentioned it at the beginning of the show. It's week 1 of the playoffs. It is time for you and your team to take that familiar 7.4-mile trip north on Mustang Road. But this is unfamiliar territory, as the Broncos and the Millers have only played one time in the playoffs. Only one time in the history of this rivalry have we faced each other in the playoffs. And that came back in 1998 when the Broncos won 21-14. Has there been that same hype? I know as a player, week 1 of the season, when you're going to face UConn Millers, it's crazy around the place. Has it been that familiar feeling around the field house this week?
You know, a year ago, I got my first glimpse or experience in Mustang UConn and the atmosphere and you know, as much as you want to say as a coach those things aren't important and those things don't matter. I mean, it's you'd have to be silly to miss that. There's definitely a different feeling in the air and a buzz around our community when it's Mustang UConn. So are our kids fired up? Absolutely, they are. We're excited to play, and even more than that, what we're working hard at this week. You can be fired up all you want. Fired up isn't what's going to most likely win you the game. It's the preparation that it takes to win the game. It's understanding our game plan, understanding our opponent, and then when we get there, going and just making the plays. When we played them early in the year, you saw our guys. We were fired up and ready to go. We were also very focused. And our kids showed up and made the plays that it took to win that football game. So that's been our message this week. We're going to be focused. We want to be prepared. In the playoffs, when you get to this week, and our coaches have harped on that as well. Our character leaders word of the week this week is determination. Great leaders possess great determination. This type of year, if we apply that to football, everybody's banged up in the playoffs. Everybody's a little chilly out there at practice, and that toughness and that desire to be the team that is determined to fight through those things is the team that usually is going to come out on top. So we are harping that, we're stressing that. Leaders are determined, and let's fight hard and show that toughness and try to go get another win for Mustang.
If you look at the bracket, with this year being different, with so many teams making the playoff, I was looking at the bracket the other day, and it's like week 1 of the season all over again. You have Edmond Santa Fe, Edmond North going against each other, Norman North, Westmore, Southmore.
Yeah.
Is it, and just to get your perspective of this, is it cool to see those rivalries being played again, but this time with a little more on the line?
Yeah, I think it's a really neat thing. I think it's good for the game of football to be able to have our kids in the playoffs. Obviously, COVID has not been great to the game of football or for the game of football or even just for, can you imagine the pep rally that we would be having this week, and if it weren't a COVID year and just the amount of people at that stadium on Friday night. But no, I think that the rivalry games in the playoffs are really cool and definitely very interesting and a lot of fun and special for our kids. At the end of the day, we've had seniors this year that have not had opportunities to play, that have lost out on games due to quarantine and things like that. So to be able to play in week 11 and just get one more opportunity promised to us to play football is special for those kids, and that's why I'm really excited about the week and appreciative that we're able to play this week.
Going back to this game, Mustang won week 1. 35-21. But now we're 10 weeks later.
Yeah.
10 games under our belt from that time. Both teams are different. So, looking at that, what are some differences that you're seeing on film from the UConn Millers?
Well, I kind of referenced it earlier. One of the things is just, the change in rotations. As you go through the battle through the course of a season, you're going to see injuries. You're going to see guys that were not quite ready to be on the field in week 1 for whatever reason, stepping into more key roles as the season goes on, and and that's something that we definitely see as from an X and O perspective. Man, they are executing defensively very well right now. We've been impressed. Coach Reed and his staff do a great job there. But we've been impressed with how much better they've gotten on the defensive side of the ball. Week 1, they installed a new defense, and we've seen it. We talked about it, 10 weeks ago, that amoeba defense, and they've got those guys walking around and early in the year, especially not having spring football, that was something that takes a little bit of time to transition to, and they are really performing at a high level on their defensive side, really fitting in their gaps. It seems like much better than they were early in the year. So that's definitely a challenge. And then offensively, when we prepare for UConn early in the year, we have that's week 1. So we've got 2 weeks of scrimmages. We've got and my goodness, we start on them early. We prepare for them for about 3 weeks. Now coming into the playoffs, it's been 10 weeks. We've got some new kids on both sides of the ball, having to understand and learn that offensive scheme and then that defensive scheme and how to attack them and how to defend them. And we've got 4 days here to prepare for them. So that is going to be a challenge. That's something that'll be interesting. That at least since I've been here, our kids have not experienced that offense is tough to defend when they get rolling and especially on a short amount of preparation. So that's something that is a little bit different as well.
I know going back to years past when Mustang makes it into the playoffs, there's always some kind of tradition.
Yeah.
Always some kind of tradition that each coaching staff brings in with them that once it hits the playoffs, there's something that you do during the week. Maybe go out to eat dinner or something, some kind of bonding time. Is there anything like that, some kind of playoff tradition that you have that you're not being able to do this year due to COVID?
One of the things that I feel like is a strength of mine is culture in a football program. To answer that question, yes, everything has this year, man. It's been a challenging year. We don't wait till the playoffs. Our team dinners are something that's special. That's something that unifies us. We have an event called Pig and Pool. That's a kind of the kids get together, and it's a celebration of our end of the season, end of the summer, and moving into making it through the hard workouts in the summer and getting to move into the season. 64 Day is something that our kids look forward to every year. Our team lock-in, all of those things are designed to create trust, team unity. It are things that to build relationships, for our kids to get to know our coaches better, for our coaches to get to know our kids better. The best things that we do as a football program have all been taken away from us this year because of the social distancing, and it's been really, really difficult. And our staff is a staff that we're going to grab a hold of those boys and we're going to hug their necks and we're going to love on them. And last season our defensive players would come to my wife and our house on Tuesday evenings, and they would watch film, and my wife would cook. And I know Coach Dollar has done that at his house, and Coach McDaniel has his position groups over to their house, and all of those things this year have been taken away from us, and it just is heartbreaking. And those are things that are important, especially as we work through the season, to have those times where we can come together and eat together and just enjoy each other's company and really build that strong trust and unity inside of our program with our coaches and with our players. And unfortunately this year nobody's able to do that. That's something that's been really tough, and we look forward to getting back, hopefully before long, to a normal type of we find a vaccine for COVID, and we can get back to those normal things. But yeah, everything. I mean, imagine the pep rally that would be going on right now. Imagine the crowd at that game that would happen, in different circumstances. So at the end of the day, we are so thankful that our kids have had an opportunity to play football. It really stinks to say great practice. Now half of you go in the locker room and hurry up and get out of here so the other half can go in. And, but those are things that we've had to do with our kids this year. But our seniors have gotten to play football, man. So whatever it takes, that's what we're willing to do.
Absolutely. This Friday night, Mustang looks to be the first team in this rivalry's history to become 2-0 in the same season. Coach, good luck. I look forward to seeing you next week. And as always,
Go Broncos.